Hello everyone, it's Dmitry Anoshin, and this is our video of Surfalytics. And today we'll talk about computers that you might need to start to work in analytics field. And apart from computers, I want to show you the monitors and chairs and also the light. Yeah, I tried during my career, a lot of different computers, Windows, Mac, different generation of MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, and I can tell you pros and cons. And also we'll talk about what's the best for data analytics and data engineering work out there. So, as you see, I started from MacBook Pro, and I believe this is the best possible solution for you. So, first of all, lots of data applications and coding programs, whatever, they build using Mac OS. I mean, not Mac OS particular, but the Unix systems. So they're very different from the Windows. And if Linux operation systems is a bit challenging and not that user-friendly, then Mac OS actually very user-friendly. Yeah, and if you all your life spent working on the Windows machine, it will take time for you to switch from the Windows to the Mac. But if you decide to work in analytics field, if you want to be successful data engineer or data analyst, so I would suggest you to invest in the good laptop. And let's talk about the options here. First of all, there is the MacBook Pro. This is the new generation of MacBook, and it has M3 core. So, and there is M3 Pro, M3 Max. So, for example, currently let's check what I have here. I have MacBook Pro, Apple M3 Max. So yeah, that's the top core. And I have 36 gigabyte of memory. So the bare minimum you need to study data things, at least 16 gigabyte of operation memory. Because nowadays the operation system itself and different applications you run consume a lot of memory. So yeah, the bare minimum is 16 gigabyte, and my previous Mac has all kind of my previous Macs, they have 16 gigabyte. If 8 gigabyte of operation memory, it's very hard. Like you even if you open spreadsheet, yeah, it could be out of the memory because half of those memory is just consuming by operation memory. So this is my setup, and the hard drive size is not that critical, but you need at least to have 512 SSD disk. So to keep up with data sets and just not lose all your work and your portfolio on the documents, everything you have, maybe some videos or PDF books. And interestingly, you can see you can buy even up to 128 gigabyte of operation memory. So it's a lot. Yeah, and you don't need the size of the memory. So I believe even 16 gigabyte of memory, even if you go with just M3, would be sufficient. We can check the pricing here, and yeah, this is in US dollars. So MacBook Air, it is nice, it is little, and it probably has more operation memory, but I don't think it's very efficient. Because another thing that I really like about MacBook Pro is the size, 16 inches, the size of monitor. So if I don't have external monitor and I travel, it's very convenient to work, because we usually need to open like documentations, we need to open, apart from documentations, we need to open the code ID and like many tabs, many windows. So bigger monitor is definitely better. Mac Studio and Mac Mini, yeah, you can connect it, but again, it's not portable, so I will not consider them. So if we click to go here, I click the buy, so we can see the configurations. So the bare minimum, what we can do, for example, if I will choose this one and I select here, and over here I can choose 16 gigabyte of unified memory. That's the minimum you need. The minimum storage is 512 SSD storage. So that's it, and we don't really need anything else. So it's 1,800, but this laptop will serve you for years. For example, I have my old MacBook that I bought 2017, and it's still working fine, except it's a bit slow. Then I run Docker, then I run many other things. It's just not sufficient, but overall I still uses the media. So that's very good investment for you. Okay, this is MacBook, but I understand that it might be expensive for you. Let's look other options. There is another options that I really like. Then I work on the Windows machines, the Surface laptop. So they still have aluminum cover, and you see the starting price starting on 1,000. Let's go see what we can build. Of course, we need bigger screen is better, and we need at least 16 gigabyte of RAM. Yeah, but you see, it's actually the Core i7. That's another thing we need to consider. We don't want i5. So it's actually what we can see here, almost same build of laptop. Oh, that's here I choose the 14 inches. If I go, because we don't want 14 inches, we want to 16 inch. Sorry, I skipped this. Yeah, and this different story. For the 16, for the smallest 16 one, it has minimum 18 gigabyte of RAM, 512 gigabyte of SSD storage, and the price is 2,500. That's a lot of money, I would say, but it depends on your budget and your goals. If you can spend 1,500 on the new laptop, I would better think about investing in the Mac, but we also didn't talk about the used one or renewed one. That might be cheaper. Yeah, that's what we mean. And probably you have the sales tax on top. Yeah, here basically it costs the same amount as MacBook Pro 14. And if you have a choice between Windows machine or MacBook Pro 14, I would go with 14 and then just hook the monitors. And we'll talk about the monitors. So apart from those new laptops, I think another for the Windows, I think the ThinkPad. I think now it's Lenovo. It's not that bad. So, but one thing I really like on the Mac is the touch. I think it's called scroll bar. Yeah, that's very efficient and very sensitive. So I stopped using mouse many years ago. On the Windows laptops, even on the Surface, the scroll bar is I forget, touch bar, scroll bar. I forgot how these things called, but whatever. It's not that good. So another alternative you have, and for Amazon, we always can find the Renew It laptops. So if I will ask Renew It MacBook Pro, here we can find and here we can say, okay, we want to choose the size. We can try to previous generation, Apple M2. And here we can see, okay, we don't want 8 GB. Yeah, this one. It has 15 inches and it has a M2. Oh, it's Air. Okay, we don't want Air. It's 14 renewed, so it's cheaper. Not that much. But you need to go through and check. Maybe even the Air might work for you, but I don't want to spend time right now going here just to see that Renew It. You can, in Europe, in US and Canada and Australia and other countries, probably can find renewed one here. And I used to buy renewed iPads, iPhones for all my family and friends, family members, whatever. I usually order renewed. Like, it's not the newest one in terms of the version, right? But it's still functional and it's coming like new, just without original package. But if I will search for renewed ThinkPad, the prices would be really cool. And here we can say, okay, we want to Core i7, and we can like get definitely SSD and see what options we have. So some of them, they're very cheap. Like you see this one, $400, and it's 15 inches screen, Core i7, 16 GB of RAM, 512 SSD. It's great. I mean, it's exactly what you need. The bare minimum, you can start like just $400 and you get really decent machine. And of course, you can buy maybe better one. So trying to look into the spec. So the higher specs you have, the better for you. And this is, yeah. Okay, we finished with laptops. Yeah, there is always options to go with the Linux machine, but yeah, it's out of the scope video. Now I want to talk about the monitors. I usually use the Dell monitors. I use them in Amazon, I use them in Microsoft, and all other companies that I work. They usually go with Dell, and they're quite good. The one thing we need is like 4K. Make sure it's 4K, and then the size. So I found the typical size like 27 inches is good. And if you can connect, you buy 2 monitors and just connect them, and you can completely close your laptop and have external keyboard. Yeah, this example, so highly recommend. But you usually need more than one, or maybe you can use if you have MacBook Pro with 16 inches, you can use is one screen, and this is another screen. Another one quite popular is a curved one. The idea it has 32 inches, it could be even more, but it's also quite convenient to work. I personally don't like the curved monitors. Instead, I prefer to have either 227, or currently at home I'm using this monitor. I think it's this or similar. It's 31 inches, but it's square one, and I usually use it with the app that calls Magnet, or any other app that can split the screen. I can do, right? So I can quickly, so on the big monitor, I can have 4 active windows work on them. And this is, that's why I like big one. And I keep my MacBook Pro closed and just connect with the single wire. So, yeah. So the best setup is this monitor plus MacBook Pro. Yeah. Even 14 is okay because most of the time you will shut down. 16 is good if you like to be mobile, work in coffee shops and libraries, or study, then it will work. So the next topic I want to quickly cover, it's for the chairs. And there are 2 best chairs. I think the one of them is the Iron. Herman Miller is like best seller of all times. I had this kind of chair, but finally I sold this. I found that this chair is not that good for my back, or maybe I'm already like too old, so I need something more soft. But this chair is kind of like very popular. You can see many people in tech, they're having those chairs. And chair is important. Like you spend lots and lots of time sitting and working on the chair. Another thing I recently discovered is the human scale. So this kind of chair, this is what I ordered recently just to try. They have 30 days shipping back, so I will try and would be good to compare. Is it like better or not? In other things, you need definitely the desktop, like standing desktop that you can sit instead, but you even can go with IKEA It doesn't really matter what kind of desk you have, and it could be cheap, could be manual, it could be with the motor. So, but the size of desk is important, so you can just find whatever works for you. And I also found that those things help to, like arms that mount your monitor, connect to the desk. They're quite good, and there are lots of different brands. I decided to go with those just to try and see how it goes. I'm still waiting. But yeah, that's all about this. And the last thing I will to show you is the lamp, because sometimes you work late, and I found that the best light is this kind of lights. So, and I ordered one on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. So even for the huge monitor, I can easily hook it under, or I have multiple monitors. So those one I really recommend. Like, just find the one you like, and you have really good setup to actually learning and be really professional. Because you need to really organize your space in a really convenient way that everything like support you in your journey to achieve your goals. That's it about this, and thank you for watching.